Okay, today's module is going to be about setting up the WBS. And on the screen here, you can see that I've already input some codes into this project. The project that I've selected is how to schedule a project plan. So, just as everything else in P6 is, most of the operations occur up here. So we're going to pretend like we've just logged in, and you'll remember from the last video, here's the enterprise section. So I'm going to scroll down here and find the project. I'm going to right click and say open project. So there you go. Here we are. So WBS, or work breakdown structure, is specific to a particular project. Let me repeat that, it's very important. WBS structure, or work breakdown structure, is particular to a specific project. So in order to come in and set up the WBS, you have to hit project, and then here is the WBS button. And notice it takes us to a new window, and I'm going to roll this down a little bit so we can see the entire WBS that I've set up. And you can see here it's got levels, outline levels. Here's the first one, which is pre-project setup. Level 2, which is defining the project defaults. Level 3, which is what we're talking about today, is the project WBS setup. And then here are the rest of them that we're going to be dealing with. Now if we go back up here, you'll notice that this is indented, and it has the major categories, the work breakdown structure for this particular project, and all of these things are items that I've included in the last video. So let's come here to video 3, highlight here, and remember on this side of the screen is where you do everything like on an individual task basis. So here's the add button, there's the delete button, and then this will then move an item up, down, or to the right, because obviously this one has gone as far left as it can. So we're going to add an activity here. Now notice it gives you the place for it automatically numbers, and I think I made reference to this in the previous video that when you're setting up the WBS structure, it will automatically number it if you put your cursor in the right place, and obviously then hit add. So we're just going to say fine, we're going to go with 1. I'm going to hit enter, and I'm going to come over here, and under the setup I'm going to call this activity enter the codes. Okay, so now we've indicated part of our WBS structure under the WBS setup. Now if I decided I didn't like that description, all I would have to do is highlight it, change it, and I'm going to say enter WBS hierarchy. Okay? Now, again, the same thing as we've done before. We're here. If I leave my cursor here and I click the plus, what is it going to do? It's going to indent it. So I'm going to put in the number 2, knowing that I really meant for it to go the other way. So I've got it here. Now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to hit the go left button, and there you go. So after this, under WBS structure, I'm going to write give some thought to the structure. Okay, so you can see it's pretty simple in how to set up your WBS codes. That's literally as complex as it gets. Now what I need for you to remember is that this is how you will assign WBS codes to each activity, and it is a general way to be able to pull data out of your schedule. Now, this is a very important point. This is one of Lana's rules, and you need to always remember that a schedule is only as good as your ability to mine or get the data out of the schedule. I'm going to repeat that. A schedule is only as good as your ability to mine or pull the data out of the schedule. So you need to give some thought to your WBS. So I'm going to take you back up here to a different project. We're going to go look at projects, and I am going to take you to one of the projects at U of H. I'm going to say open project. Okay, and then I'm going to come to, now when this stops because I went too fast, hit WBS. Okay, so let me just talk you through this a minute, and you'll notice that all of a sudden there's all these bars over here. Well, what has happened is every activity in this schedule has been assigned a WBS code. One of these items over here has been attached to every single activity. So what it will do for you is it will tell you the WBS activity of procurement. It will generate a schedule for you and show you when it starts and when it's scheduled to end. So if I were looking at this project and I didn't want to drill down into the individual activities, I could go to the WBS structure and I could see that all of the procurement activities should have been done by June 18th. Now when I go to my meeting with the subcontractor and the contractor, if all the procurement isn't done by that point, I know that we have a problem. Same thing with their contracts. They were due to be finished with contracts on April 4th. Submittals, fabrications, and then this has to do with the commissioning of the buildings. I notice it's much farther out. Okay? The exterior, the MEPs, the structural, and the foundations. Now, you're asking yourself, well, why is it sorted this way? Well, if you come in here and you tell it to sort, notice it changed and expanded. So I hit the button up here and now it is sorted by the higher number down. If I redo it again, notice it's compressed itself, but it hasn't. You've got 102 and 111. So this is not sorted correctly. We would need to do I'm going to compress this, and this should move up. Notice it's done there. I'm going to compress all of these, and then I'm going to move these up. Move this up. And the reason why this is important is when we get to filters and layouts, one of the options that you can select on how to lay your project out where it appears is to sort it by WBS codes. So if you get it set the way you want here in the WBS, it makes it much easier to get your project to sort the way you want to. So now, you'll notice it occurs typically in the phases that a project will migrate to, and now you're getting more of the cascading effect of the activities. So the critical things I want you to remember is that WBS in the construction industry is considered to be the broader, typical components that you find in every project. And typically the WBS is assigned to procurement, site, foundation, structural, MEP, exterior, finishes, commissioning, and then landscape. If we were to take it one step farther, we would probably add activation here, which has to do with the owner's move-in. Okay? So that has to do, today's lesson is on WBS structure. Activity codes, as we've talked about, I believe, in a previous session on setting up activity codes, has to do with the much more specific elements of each individual project. So I hope this clears it up for you. I want you to get on your version of P6 and experiment with setting up your own WBS. Thank you, and I hope this helps. Bye-bye.